Peace be unto you. All this ruckus about freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and we can say anything we want, and this muzzling of the media. Well, actually the media has been muzzled for a long time. Manufacturing consent, Noam Chomsky actually wrote a book to see how they manufacture consent. This is muzzling, actually at the highest of levels. But I want to tell you today is that freedom of speech is not absolute. Because in North America, for the African American and African Canadian, you cannot use the N-word. Why? Because it's demeaning, it's hateful, it brings back the memories of slavery, of 400 years of oppression, of killing millions of people in this saltwater passage. You notice they call it a passage, as though the Africans were coming on a passage with umbrella. Well, that's another story by itself. But so you can't use the N-word. You cannot use any words of slur for the Aboriginals. At least they were being even persecuted longer than the Africans for over 500 years. You can't use that. You can't use anti-Semitic words. You can't use words against Japanese. You can't use so many other words. And why would you? It doesn't add anything to the conversation. So here it is very important that freedom of speech, yes, you can push the boundaries, you can ask the question, you can discourse, you can add something to it. And you can even ask the questions that make people uncomfortable, but not something that downgrades and degrades human beings. So freedom of speech is not absolute, because if it was absolute, you would be able to use any words whatsoever. You would be able to call Pakistanis Pakis, and you would be just continuously use words that would be very harmful to the Chinese, to the Koreans, to, you know, the history is replete with these words. So remember that freedom of speech and freedom of expression, it is not absolute. So get that out of your mind. Let us be civil, let us have a discourse, let people talk, let people come out, let people say what's on their minds. But at least be in that civility area where we don't actually go on to another area by saying, well, we can say these things about the Muslims, but we can't say about these people because we'll get sued, right? This is just a double standard. This is under the rubric of bigotry. We need to stop that. I hope you understand this point, and I hope you actually grow with this. Thank you very much. So this backlash that, oh, this ideology and hate and all of this, oh, Muslims, we need to look at them under a microscope. This is something that's not right. I think one needs to also see that Muslims also died in that. So we are being targeted from both sides.